Do you feel better about yourself for yelling at people? I mean, do you need that in your life? And the answer may be yes. Will you admit it? Probably not. But hey, I would respect the hell out of you a lot more if you would say, yeah, you know what? It is kind of fun and it makes me feel better about myself. At least I can respect that. Caroline Flack. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. She's a British TV host. The tabloids blasted her personal life so much so that people were telling her she should kill herself. So she did. Everyone pretended to care at that point. Oh, well, maybe she had mental issues. These were the very same tabloids and the very same people who told her these things, who caused this. Second story, Megan Meyer, 13 years old. She thought she was chatting with a cute boy on MySpace. This obviously ages the story. But this ended up being a fake account by a neighbor's mom who lived down the street. Her name was Lori Drew, and she flirted with this young girl pretending to be a boy, which is sick enough, but she let it go and let it go and let it go, and then all of a sudden turned mean. Lastly, there was a big scandal called Gamergate in 2014. Again, I wasn't aware of this. People in the gaming world and in social media probably were more aware than I was. There were women who were doxxed, harassed, and threatened with rape and murder. Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, and Brianna Wu are three examples of this. Let's jump down the digital rabbit hole, shall we? Where the trolls reside. And I don't mean the cute, furry, fluffy ones from the animated hit film. I mean these assholes on social media, in the comment section and abroad, who wreck people's lives, who make people's lives hell, and in some cases have actually led to the death of people. It's not a fun topic. I will try and make it as lighthearted as I possibly can, because there are definitely different levels of trolling. There are different levels of harassment, bullying, if you want to use that word, on social media, online. It's just kind of beyond me, and I need to take some time to discuss it. I used to do a segment called the Butthurt Comments to the show, if anybody remembers that. And I'd like to bring it back to a point, but it got so overwhelming because they would bother me so much. Fortunately, I'm learning to ignore it and to understand who these people are and what they do. I've been reading up on different studies about it. I've been reading up different cases. I've just really tried to take a deep breath and learn how to handle this. And the best way to handle it is to not do anything. The best way to handle it is just put a smiley face, say thank you for your interaction. A lot of times these people don't understand that by interacting, they're actually helping the very people that they're yelling at. So again, thank you for that. So welcome to Stay in the Gray. Humanity is messy, and the truth is uglier than those comments on a political post. So let's jump in. Trolling 101. Let's talk about who trolls are. Are they just bored? Are they just insane? Do they have mental issues? Is there something about what they do something about this process that makes them wake up in the morning and just, here we go. Who am I going to find? Who am I going to hurt? Who am I going to... does it make people feel tough? Do you feel better about yourself for yelling at people? I mean, do you need that in your life? And the answer may be yes. Will you admit it? Probably not. But hey, I would respect the hell out of you a lot more if you would say, yeah, you know what? It is kind of fun and it makes me feel better about myself. At least I can respect that. So these people, they think that their opinion is worth more than your peace of mind. And what I mean by that is if they disagree with something you say, which is likely the reason for a lot of this, if they don't like what you said or whatever, and there's some that literally you could do a show about cooking something and they would tell you did it wrong and that you're a piece of shit and you need to rot in hell because you left that in the oven longer than they would have. Those are, I just think we gotta ignore that. But it's these ones that come on here that if they disagree with something that you say, then all of a sudden it becomes an insult fest, and it sets people on defense. And that's what happened with me, and I've admitted that to people. I've been called out by people close to me for my reactions. And I'd like to think that I've reduced those by about 90%. I really am not going to feed you anymore. I will tell you that you have no substance, and I will tell you that like and subscribe and check out other things that you don't like about what I say. Hit that like button, or don't even hit that like button, just comment. That's plenty. I'll take it. But some of these people cross the line. They go from snarky to sadistic, sarcastic to evil. And it's those where dudes with usernames like XR2QDragon9er asterisk with a picture of a fucking cat are talking shit. It's those who yell about the vaccines and feminism and respecting the world and all of these things. Meanwhile, they're not respecting you one bit. So let's talk about some reality. And this is the part that easily could have eluded you if you didn't go looking for it. I wasn't privy to social media news back in 2014, 2017, 2020 when these stories were going. I just started I'm a relatively new podcast, and hence am still learning about social media. So the story of Caroline Flack. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. She's a British TV host. The tabloids blasted her personal life so much so that people were telling her she should kill herself. So she did. Everyone pretended to care at that point. Oh, well, maybe she had mental issues. These were the very same tabloids and the very same people who told her these things, who caused this. And now all of a sudden it was, wow, we should have got her help. She had mental issues. Hypocrisy at its finest. And we all know how I feel about hypocrites. Second story, Megan Meyer, 13 years old. She thought she was chatting with a cute boy on MySpace. This obviously ages the story. But this ended up being a fake account by a neighbor's mom who lived down the street. Her name was Lori Drew. And she flirted with this young girl, pretending to be a boy, which is sick enough. But she let it go and let it go and let it go, and then all of a sudden turned mean. The mom, a.k.a. the boy, turned cruel, and the last thing he said to her was, "The world would be better without you." So she killed herself that day, if you need to know that. Again, Lori Drew was charged, but it didn't stick very well. I don't know why. Apparently, this Lori lady was very creative in how she did this. And so for whatever reason, these charges didn't stick. I think that's part of our issue. Lastly, there was a big scandal called Gamergate in 2014. Again, I wasn't aware of this. People in the gaming world and in social media probably were more aware than I was. There were women who were doxxed, harassed, and threatened with rape and murder. Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, and Brianna Wu are three examples of this. And they had to leave their homes because these trolls were putting out their personal information on where they lived and anything else you would possibly need to find. So these people fled. These women had to flee. Here's what Zoe was told. You were one of the things. You are the reason that women get hit by men. It's not very nice. Anita Sarkeesian was told, "I will kill you and your family." Okay, when you're being told this, whether it's by a troll or not, somebody that just sits behind their keyboard and says these things, which is, thank goodness, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty sure that that's 99.9% of these people. But when people start putting out your personal information and you're getting things like, "I'm going to kill you and your family," it makes things a little uneasy. It probably wrecks your life, at least for a while. There was a mass shooting threat for Anita Sarkeesian, and nothing happened. So they found the person, and nothing ended up happening because of twisted laws when it comes to digital rules. But Twitter at the time decided to update their abuse reporting system. I don't know. Is that a win? Maybe. Sorry, my pages are stuck together. So here's an example of some of this stuff is insane. I'll rape you with a knife. Sounds like some old death metal lyrics that I knew in high school. Here's another one. You deserve to die in a ditch, feminazi scum. All right. You should lose your baby and then kill yourself. Wow. I don't know what these people could say to deserve that. And I'm going to try and avoid talking about current issues in our country and how they apply to this, because guess what? I've seen some of this stuff being thrown about for somebody saying that they like the president, for somebody saying that they don't like the president, for somebody saying we should defend Ukraine, for somebody saying we should not be defending Ukraine. This type of stuff is said. If I look at you and I tell you that I don't think that Vladimir Zelensky is somebody we need to be sending a ton of money to, I could be told, I'll rape you with a knife. What's the point? Are you intellectually inferior to the point to where you have nothing else to say? You can't have a conversation. You can't say, wow, I see your point. Or even, man, I just don't see your point. But to tell me that you will rape me with a knife, what is that going to do? Let's move on. There was a woman named Ann Dunleavy, and she was up in New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken, and she was a professor, and she was known for doing these videos to Trump supporters, telling them that she will put them in a stretcher and a bunch of other threatening messages. And that's what she would do. She put those videos out. Wasn't very smart. Authorities can view that as a threat if it becomes any more personal than that. I don't get it. This woman probably has no idea why she's so upset, other than she's told to be that upset by family or paid pundits, the media, or the very people that she claims to support. And this is not helping when it comes to these types of threats online, these types of comments that people get. Let's talk about the law enforcement. The problem with this is that law enforcement is very confused. I've researched this recently when I was about to do this show. I wanted to know what police officers, what FBI, whatever law enforcement agency there is that could possibly be involved. I want to know what their thoughts are on this, because it just seems like it's not being harnessed very well. And I understand there's a line where free speech is involved. I get it. It's the reason I'm still ecstatic that Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it to X. I think there is an element of free speech that needs to be there, and we all need to maybe not be as sensitive and understand that these people out here that hide behind their keyboard are going to say some stuff, and that we should just turn the other way. Yes, I agree with that. But there is also a line that can be crossed where it's not that simple and it's not that easy. So where does law enforcement come in? Who makes that decision, and what happens? My understanding is that it's very confusing with digital law. The police, of course, and any investigative department, they need IP addresses, server logs, etc., all the things that I don't know what they are. And even if they find the troll, if you will, the laws are very weird. They're very soft. And a lot of times there's nothing set to where these people can get away. They can get out. And that's what I was saying. So free speech covers a whole lot, apparently, unless it's inciting violence. But a lot of this is. I mean, even if I respond to somebody and I'm like, you should, go to hell. I mean, is that inciting violence? Not really. But I mean, there's a lot that's on the line. And so I see it every day. And I guarantee you all of these people are not being rounded up. So who's going to do that, and how do we control this a little bit better? That's not for me to decide. There is something called swatting, and I had no idea that you could even do this. In fact, somebody tell me how you do this, and please tell me why. Let me just tell you what it is. Swatting is an emergency call to send a SWAT team. Really? Is the person or people responsible for sending that SWAT team not going to check into this to make sure it's legit? If somebody called and said, hey, you better send a SWAT team. Oh, okay. We're on our way. Reminds me of Christmas Vacation when they all jump in the windows of the house just because somebody kidnapped the guy down the street, the boss, in the next neighborhood over. Yes, it warranted some police involvement, but not the entire SWAT team. And this is what I'm talking about. Check this out. 2017, for those of you that did not know, a man named Andrew Finch was killed when police stormed his home in a SWAT-style raid. This was an innocent man. There was some dude he didn't even know that lost in a game of Call of Duty. I don't know how you lose or what the game even involves, but I know I've heard of it, and I know that a lot of people get in deep into these games, these role-playing games, these war games. And this guy lost and tried to swatted the wrong guy. This Andrew guy wasn't even playing the fucking game. This guy's SWAT team comes in and kills him. Now, I think that SWAT team and whoever needs to take some responsibility for that as well. It's not just the guy, but the guy that called in because he lost ultimately caused this guy to lose his life because of a game. I just don't get it. So this guy apparently was a serial swatter, they called him. They say he did it a couple times. Finally, he was convicted. 20 years in jail. Was that justice? Some people say yes, but, Andrew Finch is still dead. So I don't know.